Welcome to another episode of Business Highlight. My name is Pedro. Business Highlight is a show by the Boca Raton Tribune where we talk to local business professionals and nonprofits and talk to and share with our viewers what they do. Before we get started, make sure to follow us on YouTube. We're playing exclusively on YouTube now, and make sure you subscribe and hit the little ring so you get notified every time we have a new video. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Greg Hazle, the Executive Director of Boca Helping Hands. Greg, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. How are you?
Oh, absolutely. Good to be here, and thanks for having me.
That's great. So for those that don't know, how about we just start off introducing yourself a little bit, and we'll start from there.
Sure. Well, my name is Greg Hazle. I am Executive Director here at Boca Helping Hands. My family and I have lived here in Boca Raton for the last almost 27 years now.
Wow.
So I'm a longtime resident. I did not have a long career in the nonprofit world. I've come to Boca Helping Hands actually from the for-profit world. I spent a lot of time working for FPL and for Cemex in my prior career. So in a sense, I'm kind of on a learning curve in my current role, but it's been a very interesting ride.
Wow, that's awesome. How long have you been the Executive Director at Boca Helping Hands?
So it's coming up on 4 years.
Nice.
But prior to that, I was on the board of the organization for 4 years before that.
Cool. So I know Boca Helping Hands is a big organization in town, but maybe there might be someone watching the show right now that doesn't know what Boca Helping Hands is. So if you could just explain to us a little bit of what Boca Helping Hands is and what you guys do for our viewers, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So Boca Helping Hands is a community organization, and even though we are called Boca Helping Hands, because of where we started, our programs now extend throughout all of Palm Beach County.
Oh, wow.
And I think the thing that distinguishes us amongst nonprofits in the area is the range of services that we offer. So we have a number of different programs and services that we offer to our clients. Beginning with these programs that are focused on kids. We have a child hunger relief program where we provide weekend meals to kids in our local elementary schools. We're working currently with 6 schools. Last year before COVID, we were working with 12 schools and about 1,200 kids. And your viewers may be aware that a lot of our kids in the county get their nutrition really through free school lunches.
Yeah.
And what we do is we supplement their food supply on the weekends when they're not at school. So we provide meals for them to take home on the weekends. We also help working families with childcare costs. So we provide financial assistance to families that are either full-time at work or full-time at school, to provide for childcare and after-school care and summer camps, so that they can continue in their careers, not having to worry about who's taking care of their kids. The other big program that we have is on our job training and mentoring. And this is really intended to help people who are either trying to enter the workforce for the first time or trying to advance in the workforce, trying to get a better job. And we provide scholarships for them to attend accredited vocational schools here in the area in a number of different career areas, in healthcare, in transportation, in customer service, and in IT. And we're constantly, looking at programs to add, at different careers to add to that set of offerings. We have a partnership with a healthcare provider, Genesis Community Health, who operates medical and dental clinics here in Boca and in Boynton. And we subsidize the cost of people receiving care in those units. So that program basically allows us to provide access to affordable health care for people who are uninsured or underinsured. And then finally, our general hunger relief program for adults is kind of where we all started. We began as a simple soup kitchen at the extension of a church ministry some 22 years ago, but now that has developed into a program in which we distribute pantry bags and that's actually the part of our organization that touches most people. Some close to 30,000 people
Wow.
participate in our pantry bag distribution each year. We have 4 locations throughout the county where we distribute pantry bags. And we also serve a hot meal at our Boca location for anybody who needs one every day. Now, because of COVID, everything is drive-through. So we're hoping to return to our hot meal sit-down
Yeah.
program pretty soon. So that's kind of a mouthful, but that kind of gives you the range of services that we provide.
No, for sure. Guys, talking to Greg Hazle from the executive director of Boca Helping Hands. Check out their website at bocahelpinghands.org to learn more about what they do. But Greg, you mentioned something that you guys do that I think is really awesome. And I kind of was hoping you could expand on it a little bit. It's the mentorship program that Boca Helping Hands offers. Could you expand a bit on it, talk about like when it was created and how many people you guys have been helping so far, and how has it been with COVID, and how and what you expect in 2021 from this program?
Sure. So the mentorship that you've mentioned is really part of our job training program. The way we conduct our job training program is in 3 phases. The first phase, all of our job training applicants or students go through what we call a job readiness training, where we are teaching them soft skills, preparing them for the workplace with skills that are, very highly valuable, even and sometimes more valuable than the hard skills that they learn in their vocation.
Yeah.
The second phase is when they actually go off to the vocational school. So, for example, they may go to CDL school to learn, commercial driving and get their permits and classifications. And then they return for the mentorship phase. And that's where our job mentors sit with them, help them prepare to actually, be interviewed, help them prepare a resume, teach them how to conduct a job search online. The program has gone on, we've actually established contacts with a number of prospective employers. So the mentor may actually help get them into an interview.
Yeah.
And we are actually now thinking of extending that mentorship arrangement even after people are in jobs, to help make sure that they are performing okay and are sustaining their employment. So that's really where the mentorship fits in, and it has been around for as long as the job training programs have been around.
That's awesome. So, we're talking like a little bit earlier, you mentioned all the programs that Boca Helping Hands does for the community. Are there any of them that, maybe our listeners might be very aware of, that they go, oh yeah, that's a Boca Helping Hands thing that they do, or maybe like an event that you guys, maybe not now because of COVID, obviously, but maybe there's like an event that you guys always used to have and things like that?
Sure. So let me talk about the program first. As I mentioned when I was talking about it, the program that people know us most for are our feeding programs.
Okay.
So, people generally associate us with the adult feeding programs. The event that people know us by is our annual Monopoly tournament.
Yeah.
You see, that's also a very distinctive feature of how we raise funds. Everybody can have a golf tournament, but we have a Monopoly tournament, and there's a backstory there. Our board president was actually a national Monopoly champion. I bet you didn't know that such a thing existed.
So cool.
He represented the United States at Monopoly.
Wow.
So that's our typical fundraising event that we have each year at a venue here in Boca. Last year we couldn't have it because of COVID. This year we probably won't have it, but we're hoping again that maybe next year we'll resume having that very distinctive and very popular event.
The Monopoly event, is this an event that you guys do every year? We're doing every year, and what kind of funds were you guys bringing up, and was that all going into the entire organization as a whole, or is it going to different parts of different programs and things like that?
Yes, it was our major event fundraiser. Okay, it wasn't the only campaign or fundraising campaign that we have. We also have an end of year matching campaign
Mm-hmm.
But whereas some organizations have, an event every month, we really only had one event per year.
Right.
And the way, funds were generated is that people paid for the opportunity to play Monopoly. At least, you have avid Monopoly players who are willing to sponsor a Monopoly, um, a Monopoly game,
Right.
or some people are willing to sponsor a whole table of Monopoly players. So it's in the same kind of format as a golf
Oh,
tournament, but
okay.
you're just sponsoring a different sport than golf.
And it's
And
definitely like a 12-hour, 24-hour event, maybe.
no, it's a 3 hour event.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
it's not everybody that comes to the event plays Monopoly. So there are other, forms of entertainment.
Ah,
Obviously,
okay.
there's also a big meal, there's a band, there's dancing. So the Monopoly diehards are off in a corner playing, and everybody else is having fun,
Uh,
either watching or eating, or it's really kind of a fun event. And again, because it's so distinctive, it's become kind of very popular. It's here in Boca, you
yeah.
gotta know the places to be. That's always one of the places to be in April. And every year we raise about $250,000, and it goes
Wow.
into um, funding all of our programs.
If you want a quick 3-hour game of Monopoly every year, that's the place to
Exactly.
go. If you don't want
That's
to
the
like
place to
get
be.
angry with family and you just want to have fun, you go to this event. That makes
Exactly.
so much sense. Instead of spending hours and hours on end on Monopoly, 3 hours.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
perfect. So, you've been the executive director for, you said, about 4 years now. What has been some of your most memorable moments so far with Boca Helping Hands?
That's really a hard question to answer. I get that question all the time because a day in the life of people in the nonprofit world, particular, the kinds of people that we meet,
Hmm.
when you're helping people to take care of their kids, or when you're providing them with a scholarship to change their lives through vocational training, you really go home most days with stories that make you cry.
Right, right.
So, all of the success stories, and there are some of those that people can read on our website, of people
Hmm.
who, for example, a lot of the folks that are coming to us for job training now lost their jobs
Wow.
because of COVID. A lot of the people who are coming to us for food now, had good jobs or ran small businesses and never expected that they would ever need to be in a food line. So whenever you touch lives like we get an opportunity to do in the kind of work we do,
Mhm.
it makes memories, and it makes memories on a very routine basis. So I don't have any specific day that's better than the others.
Right,
There are a
right,
whole lot of great days in this
right.
job.
That's awesome. You touched a little bit earlier on the food donation that you guys have. It's what you guys are most known for. Um, Obviously, a lot of people don't really realize that homelessness is an issue even in Boca. And how has Boca Helping Hands, helped out this, this with the homeless, besides, the food and things like that? Like, is there stuff that you guys specifically focus on to help that type of people?
Well, very few of our clients are actually homeless.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay.
and that is actually, I think, the thing that people misunderstand the most about
Mm,
our community, is that the people who are coming in for help, you know, are in jobs. We estimate that somewhere around 90% of the people that come to us for any of our services are actually people in jobs,
wow.
but they're in jobs that do not allow them to live a sustainable life. Okay.
Okay.
So the people picking up a bag of groceries every week, it's just a way of supplementing their income.
Got it.
Okay. So what we have more in our community is an affordability crisis, more so than, a homeless crisis or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
Um, where we see people who are more likely to be in the category that you described is in our hot meal program. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't need any kind of pre-qualifications. If you're hungry, you just walk up to our facility and you get a fabulous meal.
Yeah.
And so our walk-ups, the people who would show up just walking up for a meal, I would say that more of those people might be in the homeless category.
Mm-hmm.
But our services really aren't designed to cater specifically to the homeless. There are other agencies that are attempting to do that.
Got it.
If homeless people show up at our for any kind of help that we can provide, we certainly will provide it to them. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, most of the folks that we're serving are what would be categorized as working poor.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So I'm sure a lot of the viewers didn't even know that either. That's a great point. You know, shifting gears a little bit to obviously last year everything shut down during COVID. How has Boca Helping Hands been affected by COVID-19? What are some of the things that you guys were able to do last year that were you kind of made lemonade out of the lemons you were given?
I mean, last year was really a fascinating year because we expected the worst, obviously, when things were shut down. We expected contributions to go down, and demand to go up.
Yeah.
Well, demand did go up. As I described earlier, we saw a lot of people who were economically displaced by the effects of COVID on,
Mm-hmm.
we are a big hospitality community. So obviously the hospitality industry was one of the more impacted industries. So a lot of people in restaurants lost their jobs. So the first thing that had to be done, obviously, was modifying our operations to comply with the protocols that were being recommended for social distancing. So
Right.
all of our feeding programs were converted into drive-throughs, as I explained earlier. So we had to uh, reorganize how our pickup worked, so that we could accommodate folks without them having to get out of their cars.
Yeah.
But once that was accomplished, what we saw was an incredible increase in the number of people that came in for the hot meals and for our pantry bags. Um, we estimate that somewhere around, we saw about an 80% increase
Wow.
in the amount of hot meals that were distributed. We distributed a lot more food in our pantry bag programs. We saw
Mm-hmm.
a lot of new families sign up to participate in that pantry bag pickup. On the job training side, again, we had to modify what used to be in-person classes, uh, just like the schools, to do virtual training.
Right.
And again, what we were able to accomplish last year, because of these modifications, was we fed more people than we had fed in our conventional operating mode. We provided greater flexibility for people who were receiving job training classes and mentoring online rather than in person.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to protect our volunteers. Here at Boca Helping Hands, a large portion of our volunteer crew were elderly folks, people who were considered at risk.
Right.
So there was quite a few of them decided, they wanted to take a break from volunteering, under the advice of all of the medical professionals that were informing us. So again, we had to try to replace those with people who, fortunately, with the schools and universities closed, we had access to a younger crew.
Yeah.
And so, again, you talk about lemonade and lemon, but we ended up expanding our roster of volunteers with a lot of young people. So that in itself was a form of marketing. And from
Mm-hmm.
a financial support and food donation, the whole community responded in a way that we really didn't anticipate. So last year we raised more money perhaps than we have raised ever.
Wow.
And we recovered and distributed more food than we've ever recovered and distributed. Again, because in a sense, people saw us as a way for them to participate in providing a solution to the problems created by the pandemic. We were their arms and their legs, but it was their consciences that were at work in sending us checks or sending us food. So there was a silver lining to the whole
For sure.
situation in our mind.
For sure. Again, talking to Greg Hazle, the executive director of Boca Helping Hands. If you guys want to check out their website to find out more information, head over to bocahelpinghands.org. Greg, what are some ways that our listeners can, if help out in the mission of Boca Helping Hands if they want to get involved with the organization?
Sure. First of all, I think is to become a little bit more knowledgeable about what we do, and the easiest way to do that is to go to our website. People can then participate either financially by donating to either a program or to our general operating needs. People can volunteer, and on our website we provide a list of all of the volunteer opportunities in our various programs that people may be interested in. People can do food drives, and usually these food drives are done as a part of a group. So schools do food drives, churches do food drives, communities do food drives, companies do food drives. And the other thing is that if you have learned about us, or if you been able to participate in any way with Boca Helping Hands, just telling people about what we do is also of help. So there are all kinds of ways. I never want to prescribe how people can help, because I'm always surprised at how inventive people can be in finding ways to help us.
For sure. As we start wrapping up, what would be some advice that you would give someone who wants to maybe get involved in nonprofit work? Kind of like yourself, you said that before Broke Happy Hands, you really weren't in the nonprofit world. So what would that advice to someone that might be looking to jump into the nonprofit world be?
Well, it's a learning experience, because I lived in Boca for many, many years before I got an opportunity to learn about the aspects of my community that I'm learning now. I had kind of bought into the stereotypes that everybody has about Boca. Right. This kind of self-indulgent, affluent poser community. Right?
Yeah.
And then you discover, first of all, that not everybody in Boca lives that way.
Right.
Okay. It's not all country clubs and gated communities here. We've got our own tracks and the other side of the tracks here as well. And so that's the first thing, is becoming aware of the need in your community. As insulated as we can all be from the needs that other people might have. Yeah. Learn about those things. The kids especially, when you understand that here in Palm Beach County, almost 60,000 of our kids have food insecurity issues and go to bed hungry, you just don't go to sleep well knowing that.
Right. Yeah, no, 100%.
So the first recommendation would be increasing their awareness and finding a way to participate, and it doesn't necessarily require them to get personally involved. Obviously, by supporting an organization like Boca Helping Hands is a very easy way, convenient way for people to be a big part of the solution in their communities. So not everybody has to dive into the deep end like I did, but if you are so inclined, the water's fine.
Greg, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add for our listeners?
No, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. If people have any other questions, they can obviously get to us on the website. And my personal contact information is there as well. So it was a pleasure talking with you and getting an opportunity to tell your audience more about what we do.
Thank you so much, Greg. Again, if you guys have any more information, want to learn more about Boca Helping Hands, head over to the website, bocahelpinghands.org. Greg, thank you so much for your time. And that was going to wrap up another episode of Business Highlight, guys. Thank you so much and being able to watch us. And we'll be back next week. So have a great weekend.